This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, your world leader in optics since 1917. Behind me and captured in stone is the image of the face of Cochise, one of the Apache leaders that lived in these mountains. He died in 1874. This image captured in stone bears his resemblance with a nice down-curved nose, a strong jawline, you can see his lips, and it's even complete with a 100-foot Douglas fir as one of his eyelashes. On this week's episode of Nikon's Birding Adventures TV, we're in the county that bears his name, Cochise County, home to over 500 species of birds and one of the most fantastic birding locations in all of North America. On this week's episode, we're going in quest of the wintering waterfowl of this fantastic region, along with the raptors and some other amazing birds of southeastern Arizona. Let's go birding. Cochise County in southern Arizona is often referred to as the land of legends. Not only is Cochise County a place where you can find out about Tombstone and the old American West, but it also happens to have some of the most fantastic scenery in all of North America. Combine this with some of the very best birding in North America, and you have a must-visit destination to put on your birding bucket list. The Wings Over Wilcox Birding and Nature Festival is the perfect opportunity to see all of the winter migrants that visit the area, and also to see some of the resident wildlife and natural wonders of southeastern Arizona. The festival provides opportunities to explore nature through tours on photography, geology, history, botany, agriculture, and of course, the wonderful Sandhill Cranes and other birds of the area. The Sulphur Springs Valley area is often referred to as Hawk Alley or Raptor Alley on account of the incredible numbers of raptors that utilize this area every single year through migration. I mean, just on this trip, we've seen almost a dozen different species of raptors. We've seen red-tailed hawks, we've seen prairie falcons, we've seen Harris's hawks, northern harriers, and American kestrels, to name but a few. Besides the phenomenal bird life of southeastern Arizona, this area is well known for its sunsets. And you know, I've traveled to almost 50 countries around the world, and I can tell you that the sunsets in Arizona are amongst the most beautiful that you'll see anywhere else in the world. And not only that, but these late afternoon thunderstorms with these beautiful rainbows and the golden light of the evening sunset really makes for fantastic scenery and awesome videography and photography. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, your world leader in optics since 1917, and by Cochise County, Arizona, land of legends. Some birders call the Chiricahua Mountains of southeastern Arizona the single best birding location in the entire United States of America.
Here we are in Chiricahua National Monument, and Chiricahua National Monument is rightly famed, yes, for biodiversity, but also for geology. And when you think of the geology here, it helps support all the different species that are here. How it formed mainly describes a huge volcanic eruption, at least 10 times as more powerful than Krakatoa was in the late 1800s. So 27 million years ago, huge volcanic eruption. It was carbon dioxide and gases and water vapor underground, building up pressure in a cinder cone, and finally, like a shaken up Coke can, it exploded, and that's where you got that violent eruption. So now you have ash in the air, and it was so hot and so liquid, it kind of had this liquid flow down hills. So as we look around here, you're seeing the remnants of that ash, which was so hot when it hit the ground, could be 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, that it fused together. And over time, the ice and the water, and even plants and even lichens, which release weak acids, have etched it into these fantastic shapes like the organ pipe formation we're standing at right here. The Apache used the word Chiricahua. Apparently one translation is land of standing up rock. And when you look around here, that makes sense. Though I've heard two other translations, land of hummingbirds and land of many turkey. All are fitting for here in Chiricahua National Monument.
Very cool large sparrow of the Chiricahuas is the spotted towhee. This is closely related to its cousin, the eastern towhee, and in fact, in bygone days when there was a big ice sheet down the center of the continent of North America, it split eastern towhees from spotted towhees, and today they're separate species. They do intermingle in only one area in North America, the Great Plains region, and here they'll actually hybridize. But they're incredibly handsome sparrows with that nice rufous sides, and they've also got spotting on their backs, which you'll only see when they turn their backs to you. This guy is facing us head on, and you can see those nice rufous flanks, and it's believed that those rufous flanks allow them to be camouflaged in the rufous brown leaf litter that they like to forage in. And the spotted coloration on their backs possibly provides them with camouflage in the dappled light from above. So they're actually quite difficult to see when they're on the ground. But very conspicuous come springtime, when the males will sit up on an exposed perch and they'll call vociferously to try and attract a mate. What an incredible large sparrow of this region, the spotted towhee. Another great towhee, which you can find in the lower elevations of these canyons, is the green-tailed towhee. And this is a very handsome bird with this nice green coloration and a bright sort of rufous orangey crown on the head. What a stunning bird, a green-tailed towhee. Sometimes quite a difficult bird to find. And I'm just going to wait here for the sun to come out so I can get some nice footage of him. He's foraging here in the undergrowth. We're getting sort of patchy sunlight here, so we might be able to get a really good look at him. But this is another of the towhees and another one of the many different sparrow species that can be found throughout Cochise County. The Chiricahua Mountains are home to a very special owl species, the Mexican spotted owl, which is one of the 3 different subspecies of spotted owl to be found in North America. This particular subspecies is the smallest and the lightest in color, with the most conspicuous spots. The park rangers in this park keep the locations of spotted owls private because they actually are quite confiding birds and they allow a close approach, but this doesn't mean that they will not be disturbed. so it's for this reason that they keep the locations private. If you walk up the trails here through this beautiful old-growth forest, you can be lucky enough to come across one of these special owls. If you are lucky enough to find one of these Mexican spotted owls, view them from a distance so that you don't disturb them, but they are incredible birds. It's believed there's only about 15,000 spotted owls of all three subspecies left on planet Earth, and about 54% of those are found here in the United States. An awesome bird, the Mexican spotted owl of the Chiricahuas. One of the characteristic and charismatic birds of this area is the Mexican jay. And these birds will gather in noisy flocks, flying from tree to tree as they forage for acorns, invertebrates, insects, and other small animals. There's a really nice, easy trail up from the visitor center at Chiricahua National Monument. Just this morning we've seen some common birds like dark-eyed juncos. We've seen spotted towhees, had excellent views of those. And we also saw acorn woodpeckers, and the highlight this morning was Arizona woodpecker. This is the only all brown-backed woodpecker in the United States, and it's got a very limited range, only found in the mountains of New Mexico and Arizona. It lives in these mixed pine oak woodlands up these valleys high in the mountains. And what a special woodpecker. It forages a lot lower than other woodpeckers, almost right down to the ground. And it doesn't probe as hard into the wood like other woodpeckers do. It tends to just flake off the chips of bark looking for insects in the wood. Very nice little woodpecker. We had a female this morning, and that's a very special bird of this part of Arizona. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, your world leader in optics since 1917, and by the Wings Over Wilcox Birding and Nature Festival, and by Pelagic Polarized Sunglasses. Around half a dozen thrasher species can be found regularly in the southwestern United States. In southeastern Arizona, two of the thrashers that we'll be looking for on this episode are the curve-billed thrasher and the much rarer and harder to find crissal thrasher. I think this is a crissal thrasher. I've been looking through my binoculars right in the distance on top of this tree. I'm going to see if I can get a look. Yes, I've got him. Crissal thrasher right on top of the bush here. Wow. What a handsome thrasher. Really, really beautiful. It also has a reddish vent, which is sometimes difficult to see. You've got to get in really good light conditions to see that reddish vent. But that long down curved bill and also that moustachial stripe is pretty diagnostic. Otherwise, it's quite a plain thrasher, not a lot of striping on it or other coloration, just kind of a dull grayish brown color. He's just hopped down to the ground. And that's actually how thrashers get their name, is they feed on the ground and they thrash that bill from side to side, overturning rocks, pieces of debris, little pieces of wood, and they'll be hunting here for spiders, insects, and anything else that they can get that long down curved bill on. What a spectacular bird, the crissal thrasher. It's a bird which is best seen in winter, when it'll sometimes perch up on top of these bushes, but at other times of the year, it's a skulker. It's very, very difficult to see and is undoubtedly one of the hardest of all the thrasher species to see in the United States. Well, that was quite a trip, going through all the shrubland and grassland and in hot pursuit of the crissal thrasher, but it was well worth it. Here at Rockjumper, we deal in the spectacular, from the iconic animals of Africa to the bizarre birds of paradise in New Guinea, to the beaches of Brazil, to the grand state of Alaska. We help you reach your dream destinations. With over 300 tours to over 100 countries, Rockjumper leads the pack in adventure travel, and we want to travel with you. We also specialize in private tours. If you have a group of friends you're traveling with or want to see the 7 natural wonders of the world with your family, contact us today. Our friendly, fun, professional guides excel in producing riveting wildlife experiences. That's why Rockjumper's birding tours and wildlife safaris are so popular. And we offer dazzling photographic tours and unique cultural trips too. Roll with Rockjumper and see the world. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and by Hobie Mirage Drive Kayaks. Enjoy nature effortlessly. And sponsored in part by Manfrotto, complete solutions for photographers and videographers. Visit manfrotto.us. Every winter, tens of thousands of Sandhill Cranes come to the Wilcox area to loaf in the fields and to feed in the wetlands. This is quite a spectacle to experience at this time of the year, and it's not uncommon to see over 1,000 birds in a single flock at any given time. Early mornings are best when you get these dawn liftoffs of hundreds and hundreds of birds at a time. A trip to this area in winter is arguably the very, very best opportunity to see these numbers of sandhill cranes. Nowhere else in the world, besides possibly Bosque del Apache area in New Mexico, has comparable numbers of cranes. You know, sandhills are the most common of the world's cranes, but they're also one of the most ancient birds in the entire world. Fossils from 10 million years ago are found to be structurally almost exactly the same as a modern sandhill crane. So these birds have been around for millions and millions of years, and they range all the way from Mexico and Cuba, all the way through North America to Canada, and even as far as Siberia. Sandhill cranes will almost always nest in wetlands on a little isolated island that protects them from predators like coyotes. And the females will typically lay 2 eggs, which both parents will take turns to incubate. And then the tiny little fluffy babies will hatch, and the parents are incredibly attentive, protecting them, showing them how to feed right from birth, because they are born precocial, which means that they can walk around, their eyes are open, and they can look for food almost as soon as they hatch from those eggs. Whitewater draw was purchased by Arizona Game and Fish to protect the up to 20,000 sandhill cranes that utilize this marshland every evening to roost. They fly in from the surrounding fields and they roost in the shallow water because it's here that they get protection from predators like coyotes. This is a spectacle which makes whitewater draw a draw card for birders from all around the country. Whitewater draw is not only fantastic for the sandhill cranes that come here, but it also holds really good numbers of snow geese in some years and exceptional numbers of waterfowl. Northern pintail, gargany, gadwall, green-winged teal, in their hundreds, all come in to this incredibly rich marshland. Other birds that can be found here are saize phoebes and black phoebes that sit on the little stalks of the grassland on the edge of the water, and they'll fly out, sally forth, grab insects, and then return, often to the same perch. There's great horned owls that roost up during the day in the big trees here. It really is a phenomenal place. Raptors come in to take advantage of the bountiful food. We have 1 or 2 bald eagles coming in and chasing up the flocks of sandhill cranes. Then there's prairie falcon, sharp-shinned hawks, and Cooper's hawks, which will fly in and try to take advantage of the small passerine birds. Look at all the northern shovelers out here. mixed in with the Sandhill Cranes and all the other waterfowl, really is a spectacle in winter. The water levels of whitewater draw fluctuate every year. So some years when the water level is high, you'll have over 20,000 Sandhill Cranes roosting and taking advantage of the deeper water levels. In other years when the water levels are low, the shorebirds come in here in huge numbers. We've got a massive kettle of Sandhill Cranes circling over here. There's got to be thousands of them in the air above us. This is incredible. Thousands of them taking advantage of the thermals that have heated up during the day, and they're just circling up above. This is phenomenal. There's got to be at least 1,000 birds here in these kettles. Wow, what a spectacle. And more than likely these birds are arriving. They're coming here. They're going to probably come down and roost here for the evening. But wow, what a sight, flying right into the sun there. Look at that. Wow. It looks almost like a tornado. The two flocks are twisting and turning into one another. It's like this big spiral that's going up into the air like a spiral staircase. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at those huge waves of V's. These V formations that they fly in, flying straight across the sun. Wow. We've got Sandhill Cranes flying in now. It's getting late in the evening, and this is when the flocks will gather from the surrounding fields. They'll fly in this beautiful V formation, and they'll start pouring in here in the hundreds. Look at that sandhill coming into land. Almost looks like it's parachuting in, like they're professional parachutists coming into land. Graceful and slow the way they glide down, and they put those long legs out and land with those massive wingspans. It's going to be a magnificent sunset here tonight, and hopefully we're going to see these cranes flying into the sun as they come down to roost. Yes, our golden bird for this episode, the Sandhill Crane.